Have you ever sat alone long enough to hear the echoes of your own silence? That's when the truth starts whispering in your ear. A truth most people don't have the courage to face. The world? It doesn't care about your pain, your tears, your struggles, or the nights you spent bleeding into your own hands. The world is indifferent, and the strongest ones, the ones who claw their way out of the pit, they learn that the hard way, alone, always alone. People love to talk about loyalty, about family, about brotherhood, but let me tell you something. Loyalty fades when the fire burns too hot. Family turns their backs when the storm grows too wild. Brotherhood? That's just a word. When you hit the ground, broken and gasping, don't expect anyone to lift you up. They'll step over your body and move on as if you never existed. That's the truth. The strongest warriors don't rise because someone saved them. They rise because they saved themselves. You want to know why the strongest are always alone? It's because they see the world for what it truly is, a battlefield. And on the battlefield, you trust no one but yourself. Trust gets you killed. Hope gets you betrayed. Love carves a hole so deep in your chest, you'll spend the rest of your life trying to fill it with ashes. You think I'm wrong? Look back at every time you opened your heart, every time you let someone in. Where are they now? Gone. But you're still here. Barely breathing, but alive. And that's all that matters. Pain changes you. It sharpens you, hardens you. It carves away the weak parts until all that remains is something raw, unbreakable. Pain teaches you lessons the soft-hearted will never understand. It whispers in your ear, don't trust, don't depend, don't break. You take that pain and you wear it like armor. Let it seep into your bones, fuel your hunger, your fire, your drive. You are not a victim. You are a warrior. And warriors don't get sympathy. They get scars. Have you ever noticed how quiet it gets at the top? That's because most people don't make it. They crumble, they surrender. But you keep climbing, clawing your way through the mud, the blood, the lies. And when you get there, when you stand at the peak of that mountain, you'll look around and realize there's no one else. The summit is cold, silent, lonely. But that's where the strongest stand. Alone, watching the weak crumble below. You think strength comes from numbers? From having people by your side? No. Strength comes from standing when your legs are broken, from fighting when your hands are trembling, from walking through fire and coming out alive, alone. You've been abandoned, betrayed, forgotten? Good. Use it. Let it fuel you. Let their absence remind you that you don't need anyone. Every scar, every tear, every ounce of suffering, that's your story, your power. Wear it like a crown. People fear the ones who don't bend, who don't break. They'll try to label you cold, cruel, heartless. Let them. Because those words, they're just noise. And noise doesn't cut as deep as the knives you've already pulled from your back. You've got nothing to prove to them, nothing to show. Your silence will scream louder than their empty voices ever could. You were born into this war and no one handed you a map. No one gave you a way out. But you survived, barely. You survived the lies, the betrayals, the loneliness, and now you are stronger for it. While they were busy hiding from the storm, you walked straight into it. While they were breaking under the weight, you carried it. And now they look at you with fear, with envy, because they know you are not like them. You are something else, something they will never be. But don't get it twisted. This path isn't for everyone. Most people don't have the guts to walk it. They talk big, act tough, but the moment the shadows creep in, they fold. You embrace the darkness. You make it your home, because you have realized the truth. The strongest warriors are forged in the blackest nights. And when dawn comes, it's not the light that saves you. It's the fire inside you, the one you kept burning when the world tried to snuff it out. So keep walking, warrior. Keep fighting. Keep burning. You don't owe anyone an explanation, an apology, or your trust. You owe yourself the victory, the climb, the crown, and when they see you standing there, bloodied but unbroken, they'll finally understand. The strongest are always alone, and that's exactly how it's meant to be. Most people will never admit this, but real strength, it's not about muscles, power, or wealth. It's about how much pain you can carry and still move forward. You think being strong means feeling nothing? No. Being strong means feeling everything. Every betrayal, every loss, every heartbreak, and continuing anyway. You think a warrior is someone who never falls? No. A warrior is someone who falls 1,000 times but rises 1,001. The truth is, the world is full of cowards, people who will promise you the moon and the stars only to disappear the second the night gets too dark. People who will smile in your face while plotting how to stab you in the back. They'll laugh at your pain, dismiss your struggles, and then pretend to mourn when you're gone. That's why you can't depend on anyone, hear me? No one. Not your friends, not your family, not your so-called loved ones. Depend on yourself. That's it. You want something done? Do it yourself. You want to survive? Fight for yourself. You want to win? Burn for it. Alone. You think you've lost everything? Good. Now, you're dangerous. Because a person who has lost it all is a person with nothing to lose. They can't threaten you anymore. They can't use your love, your trust, your hope against you. You are free. Free to carve your own path, to fight your own battles, to become the nightmare they fear and the warrior they will never forget. Listen, every time you begged for someone to stay, every time you reached out and found nothing but empty air, you were learning that the world doesn't owe you kindness, learning that the only person you can count on is the one staring back at you in the mirror. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but once you do, you'll realize it's the most liberating truth there is. The road you're walking, it's brutal, it's lonely, but it's yours. And when you reach the end, you won't owe anyone a damn thing. Not their approval, not their acceptance, not their fake applause. The scars on your soul, the blood on your hands, they will be your proof. Proof that you fought, that you endured, that you didn't just survive, you thrived in a world that tried to crush you. People love to romanticize strength. They make it sound noble, heroic. But real strength? It's ugly, it's messy, it's sleepless nights and empty rooms. It's screaming into the void and getting silence in return. It's tearing yourself apart and rebuilding from the ashes. And let me tell you something, there's no shame in that. No shame in being broken, in being alone, because that's where the real warriors are born. They'll call you cold, distant, unfeeling. Let them. Their opinions don't define you. You don't need their validation to be who you are. A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. And you are the lion. The predator, the survivor, the one who kept going when everyone else gave up. Remember that. You are not like them. And that's a blessing, not a curse. Because the ones who walk this path, they don't need the noise, the crowd, the fake love. They find peace in silence, strength in solitude. They don't wait for someone to save them. They save themselves. So let them talk. Let them mock your pain, your silence, your solitude. They don't understand it, they never will. But you've faced the truth, embraced it, and now you carry it. Not as a burden, but as a badge, a reminder of who you are and what you have endured. The strongest are always alone, not because they want to be, but because they have to be. They are not your failures, they are your victories, undeniable evidence that you braved the storm and emerged on the other side. They stand as proof that no matter how many times life tried to crush you, you rose back up. And that right there is what makes you formidable. That is what makes you a force to be reckoned with. Because you have already endured the worst, and yet you are still here, standing, breathing. They want you to believe that you are broken, that you are somehow less because you feel too deeply, because you have lost too much. But let me tell you something. They are wrong. You are not shattered. You are evolving. You are growing, transforming into something beyond their comprehension. They fear you because they see in you the very thing they lack. The courage to stare into the darkness and come out stronger. The will to press forward even when everything inside of you is screaming to stop. You think the pain you carry is a burden? It is not. It is your greatest weapon, your shield, your fire. Pain is what separates the warriors from the weak, what sharpens your edges, hardens your resolve. The world tried to break you, but instead it gifted you with something priceless, an indomitable, relentless strength that cannot be taken from you. They will call you heartless, cold, ruthless. Good. Let them. Let them see the inferno burning in your eyes, the steel coursing through your veins. Let them choke on their own words when they realize that you do not need their approval, their acceptance, or their hollow, conditional love. You require nothing from them, because everything you need is already within you. The hunger, the power, the drive, all waiting for you to unleash it. You are not like them, and thank the heavens for that. You were not created to conform, to fit inside their neatly constructed boxes. You were made to rise, to fight, to conquer. Yes, it is a lonely path, but it is the only road that leads to greatness, to freedom, to a life where you do not just exist, you dominate. So, keep moving forward, keep climbing, keep pushing. Let the world hurl everything it has at you. Let it attempt to break you, to silence you, to bury you, because when the dust settles, when the smoke clears, you will still be standing, maybe alone, but undefeated. And that is what makes you unstoppable. That is what makes you a warrior. The strongest always walk alone, not because they have to, but because they choose to. They understand that true strength does not come from the people around them, but from within. It is born from the fire that rages in the depths of the soul, from the storm that howls inside the heart. And as long as that fire blazes, as long as that storm roars, you will never fall. You will never break. You will never stop. So let them doubt you, let them ridicule you, let them walk away. You do not need them. You never did. You are a warrior, a survivor, a ruler in your own right. And when they finally turn around, when they realize who you have become, it will be too late. You will be beyond their reach, untouchable, unstoppable. And they will be left with nothing but regret, while you will stand victorious. And in the end, that is all that matters. They will call you a monster, not because you have done wrong, but because you dared to survive in a world that thrives on breaking people like you. They despise what they cannot control, and they will never control you, not your heart, not your mind, and certainly not your soul. They will call you dangerous. Good, be dangerous. Be the very thing that keeps them awake at night. The whisper they fear but never dare to challenge, because here is a truth they will never admit. Fear is respect. It is their way of acknowledging your strength without choking on the words. They fear you because you have seen beyond their illusions, torn through their deceptions, and now they can never touch you. You have become something beyond their reach, untouchable, unbreakable. Ever notice how the world only worships the fallen after they are gone? They build statues, write stories, shed hollow tears over graves they never once visited while the person was still alive. That is the game they play. They do not appreciate strength when it breathes, because it reminds them of their own weakness. They wait until it is silent, cold, and gone before they dare to celebrate it. But you do not need their praise. You do not need their empty apologies. You are not here to be liked, to be accepted, to be adored. You are here to rise, to conquer, to carve a legacy so deep it can never be erased. They will tell you to forgive, to let go, to move on. But forgiveness? That is a luxury for the naive. You do not forget the blades they drove into your back. You do not forget the hands that shoved you into the flame. You do not forget the faces of those who watched you drown and chose to turn away. You remember. You let that memory ignite inside you, not for revenge. Revenge is for fools, but to rise. To prove that nothing and no one can keep you down. Let them call you bitter. Let them call you cold. They do not know the wars you have fought, the battles you have waged within yourself just to rise in the morning. They do not know the nights you spent staring at the ceiling, suffocating under the weight of every betrayal, every loss, every shattered hope. They do not know, and they never will. Because they could never endure what you have. They could never wield the fire it takes to walk through hell and come out unscathed. And that is fine. You do not need them to understand. Their understanding changes nothing. Their opinions do not matter. Their words hold no weight. The only thing that matters is you. Your fight, your strength, your will to keep going even when every part of you screams to surrender. This world is a battlefield, and every single day you wake up, you step into the war once more. There is no room for weakness here, no space for hesitation. You either rise or you fall. You either fight or you fade, and you have already made your choice. You chose to fight when others quit. You chose to rise when they abandoned you. You chose to be the storm they could not withstand, the inferno they could never smother. Is it fair? Of course not. But fairness is a lie, justice a myth. This world is not built for people like you. It is designed to break you, to make you believe you are lesser, but you are not. You are more. You are the exception to their rules, the one who does not yield, who does not bend, who does not break, and that is why they fear you. That is why they hate you. But do not be mistaken. This strength you carry is not a gift. It is a burden. It isolates you, marks you as a target. The stronger you become, the lonelier it gets. The higher you climb, the fewer you will find standing beside you, and that is okay. Because the strongest, they always walk alone, not because they want to, but because they have to. It is the cost of survival, the price of greatness. And what fuels you? Not hope, not love, not some naive belief in a better future. No, it is anger. Pure, unrelenting, searing anger. Anger at the world for trying to break you. Anger at those who left you behind. Anger at yourself for ever believing you needed them. You take that anger and you wield it. You use it to forge yourself into something unstoppable. And when the dust settles, when all is said and done, you will see the truth. The strongest do not merely survive, they dominate. They thrive in chaos, find peace in pain, and rise from their own ashes. Always alone, but never defeated. Because being alone does not mean being weak, it means being free. And you are unstoppable.